Hello everyone, my name is Loressa Joy D. Paguta and welcome to Module 3 of this course. In this lesson, we shall talk about self-regulated learning. So at the end of this lesson, you should be able to first define self-regulated learning, next, differentiate between fixed and growth mindset, third, recognize the type of mindset one adopts, and fourth, identify ways to nurture a growth mindset. So before we begin, let me share with you a research conducted by Nilsson in 2013. In a study among 132 veterinary students on what are the factors they considered important in their learning, they cited the planning and practices of the instruction they were receiving, including the workload in their courses and the curriculum as a whole. Their research on younger undergraduate students revealed that they blame their shortcomings in achievement on their ineffective instruction and the too advanced or irrelevant course material. If they don't succeed, students logically reason the fault lies with the instructor or with their own lack of flair for the particular subject matter. If they attribute their problem to the latter, most of them still figure that there's no use in trying hard, let alone persevering, because they were born that way. What can you say about the results of the study? Do you also have the same beliefs? Do you believe that you are born in a certain way without any room for growth? Or do you believe that you can still do something with your innate potential? So I leave these questions for you to ponder, and let's talk about this in the next session. Hello everyone. So have you thought about the questions earlier? Indeed, some of us have these beliefs that the skills and talents we possess at birth are fixed and could no longer be changed. However, there are also others who believe that we can still do so much more with our innate potentials. Let's talk more about that in this session. So going back to Nilsson's study, we talked about how learners have little of these kinds of knowledge. First, they suggest that learners lack strategic knowledge. This includes different learning strategies for different types of tasks, the steps needed for solving problems and executing technical tasks, effective strategies for rehearsal, elaboration, organizing of material, and even the need to plan, monitor, and evaluate own learning and thinking. Learners may also have little knowledge about cognitive tasks. This includes comprehending directions, assessing difficulty of tasks, and deciding wisely which learning and thinking strategies to use and when. Lastly, Nilsson suggests that learners may also have little self-knowledge. This includes knowing one's strengths and weaknesses as a learner, accurately judging one's command of the material, and knowing what strategies work best for oneself to accomplish given tasks. So what do we do with this information? Do we just let this be? Or can we still do something about these noticed difficulties? Now, when we talk of self-regulated learning, we can still do something with these difficulties. So what is self-regulated learning? Self-regulation in general consists of processes that activate and sustain cognitions, behaviors, and affects, and that are oriented toward goal attainment. In the context of self-regulated learning, this refers to the self-directive process by which learners transform their mental abilities into academic skills, and this also includes self-generated thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that are oriented to attaining goals. Self-regulation encompasses the monitoring and managing of one's cognitive processes, as well as the awareness of and control over one's emotions, motivations, behavior, and environment as related to learning. So as learners, we do not just focus on the cognitive aspect, but we can also make changes in our behavior and our environment to ensure that we reach our academic goals. By behavior, this refers to our self-discipline, effort, time management, and when deemed necessary, our help seeking from the instructor. When we talk of environment, this includes technology, task management, such as single versus multitasking, and even sensory inputs, such as place, temperature, background sounds, and even physical position. So again, self-regulated learning means not just improving our cognitive skills in learning, but equally important is the awareness and the management of our thoughts, emotions, and behavior in terms of learning. Now remember, the self-motivated quality of self-regulated learners depends on several underlying beliefs or mindset. So what does this mean? Let's proceed to the next activity to find out, and see you in the next session. Hello everyone. In the previous session, we ended by emphasizing how our underlying beliefs and mindset plays a big factor in becoming self-regulated learners. Let us talk about that further in this session. So what was the result of the self-assessment we have taken earlier? Do you agree with the results? Now, in relation to learning and getting ready for college, what is your mindset? The term mindset has both a general meaning and a specific meaning as defined by psychologist Carol Dweck. Mindset refers to the direction or state of one's thinking, attitudes, and inclinations. In the context of learning, mindset is often referred to as a non-cognitive factor in learning. Aside from our academic skills and content knowledge, which are referred to as the cognitive factors in learning, research suggests that our mindset can significantly impact our academic performance. According to Carol Dweck, people either have a fixed or growth mindset, and the one that you adopt can affect every aspect of your life. A fixed mindset is the belief that your intelligence, talents, and other abilities are set in stone, which can lead to a fear of failure or reluctance to take on challenges. So if you have a fixed mindset, you believe that you are born with a particular set of skills and that you cannot change them. If you have a fixed mindset, you will likely fear that you may not be smart or talented enough to achieve your goals. You may hold yourself back by engaging only in activities that you know you can do well. In a research, the brains of those with a fixed mindset showed higher activity when they were told that their answers to a series of questions were right or wrong, which means they were keenly interested to know whether they had succeeded or failed. However, they showed no interest when researchers offered them help to learn from their mistakes. They didn't believe they could improve, so they didn't try. On the other hand, if you have a growth mindset, you believe that with effort, perseverance, and drive, you can develop your natural qualities, which can lead to increased motivation and a willingness to take on new challenges. Neuroscientists asserted that intelligence is determined by a combination of genes and environment, and that your environment influences the activation of your genes during your lifetime. Thus, according to Dweck, you can develop your own skills, abilities, talents, and even intelligence through your experiences, training, and effort. In her research, Dweck built on the theory of neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability to continue to form new connections into adulthood after it has been damaged or when it is stimulated by new experiences. This supports the idea that you can adopt a growth mindset at any time of your life. You may not become another Einstein, but a growth mindset can help you to realize your own potential through learning and practice. So once again, these are the differences between a fixed and growth mindset. If you have a fixed mindset, you tend to believe that talent is static, you shy away from unfamiliar things, you can't accept failures or mistakes, you may feel threatened by other success, you tend to focus on proving yourself, you may refuse to receive criticism or feedback, and you may avoid challenges. On the other hand, if you have a growth mindset, you believe that talent is ever improving, you always step out of the comfort zone, you learn and grow from failures, you tend to be inspired by other success, you focus on the process, not the end result, you embrace constructive feedback, and you view challenges as opportunities. So that ends this session. Hope that you are already clarified with the difference between a fixed and growth mindset. See you in the next one. Hello, everyone. Now that you already know the difference between a fixed and growth mindset, here are some simple steps to help you nurture a new way of thinking. So first, listen to yourself. The voice of a fixed mindset will stop you from following the path to success. For instance, do you tend to question your abilities and strengths? When you think about taking on a new challenge, do you resist for fear of failing? Do you think that you will never be good enough? If we notice that we constantly engage in negative self-talk, then maybe it is about time we combat our negative thinking. Second, recognize that you have a choice. Everyone will face obstacles, challenges, and defeats throughout life, but the way that you respond to them can make the difference between success and failure. If you have a fixed mindset, you'll see these setbacks as proof that you're just not up to the challenge. But if you look at them as opportunities for growth, you can develop a plan for action, such as learning, working hard, changing your strategy, and trying again. Third, challenge your fixed mindset. When you're faced with a challenge and you hear yourself thinking that you'd better not try because you don't have the talent to succeed, remember that you can learn the skills you need to achieve your goals. You may not succeed the first time, but practice will help you to develop. For example, if you're facing a challenge and you think, I'm not sure I can do this, I don't think I'm smart enough, then challenge this fixed mindset by responding with, I'm not sure if I can do it, and I may not get it right the first time, but I can learn with practice. And lastly, take action. When you practice thinking and acting in a mindset of growth, it becomes easier to tackle obstacles in a more positive way. Think of it like practicing the guitar or even a TikTok dance. Nobody does it perfectly the first time. When you make a mistake, try to see it as a chance to learn. So remember, we will not know what our abilities are until we make a full commitment to develop them. In the fixed mindset, when we fail, we are a failure. But in a growth mindset, when we fail, that means we are learning. So a growth mindset is about believing that we can still develop our abilities with openness, perseverance, and effort. So that ends this module. I hope that you learned something new and got to know yourselves better with our lesson. Thank you for listening and see you in the next one.